I'm Dyson Boocock.
And this is the Newseum.
Landscape created by social media changes everything.
As we go through the Newseum, we are going to be looking for connections between the exhibits in the museum and the AP government curriculum.
The first thing we saw was an exhibit about media bias, which included books and articles from newspapers in the past discussing the presence of bias in the media throughout history. This directly connects to the unit in class about media bias in the news, particularly news pertaining to politics.
The next exhibit that stood out to us was one about Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats. Not only did we discuss this particular event in class, but it also connects to what we learned about how the introduction of radio into politics greatly increased public involvement and public knowledge of specific politicians such as FDR.
During the media unit, we talked about the presidential debate between Nixon and JFK. This debate was significant because it was aired on both TV and radio. Because of this, many people were biased against Nixon due to the fact that on TV, he appeared stiff and unfriendly.
However, on the radio, there was less bias because people were not able to see him and therefore were more focused on the words and policy rather than his looks. The exhibit we chose shows real video and audio footage of the debate.
The Vice President and I came to the Congress together in 1946. We both served in the Labor Committee. I've been there now for 14 years, the same period of time that he has, so that our experience in government is comparable. I've been there now for 14 years, the same period of time that he has, so that our experience in government is concerned.
I think it would be improper for the President of the United States to disclose the instances in which members of his official family have made recommendations, I have made them through the years, to him, which he has accepted or rejected.
Next, we found an exhibit about political cartoons. We discussed political cartoons in almost every unit of AP Gov due to the fact that they are a major part of both politics and the news. This exhibit specifically showed the first ever political cartoon, Mutt and Jeff, but also discusses the effect of cartoons throughout history.
Our final connection is about the First Amendment, specifically the freedom of the press. We talked about this a lot in class when discussing the court case, New York Times Company v. Sullivan, and also the Pentagon Papers. Both of these major events in history involved governmental intervention in the media and ultimately resulted in the government being unable to stop journalists from publishing any information, no matter how it affects public view of the government.
Thanks for watching. We hope you learned a lot.
As you can see, there are so many connections between the AP US government curriculum and the Newseum.
Next, we found an exhibit about political cartoons. We discussed political cartoons in almost each unit for AP Gov, due to the fact that they are...
Oh my god,
Dude.
Get it!
Next.
You did that. Our final connection is about the First Amendment, specifically the freedom of the press. We talked about this a lot in class when discussing the court case, New York Times Company v. Sullivan, and when we talked about the Pentagon Papers. Both of these major events... Stop!